enjoy Aberdeen against Kilmarnock for a place in the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup with Willie Miller and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Welcome to Pittodrie for a really tasty looking first Scottish Cup quarter-final of the weekend as Neil Warnock and Aberdeen look to put their league woes to one side and secure a third trip to Hampden this season, while Killie aim to continue on their upward trajectory with the fourth victory of the campaign over today's opponents. It is a pretty fresh day up in the northeast, I can tell you. A bit of a breeze blowing around Pittodrie as the home side, all in red, prepare to take on a Kilmarnock side who have had the better of them in the three meetings already this season. Killie in their traditional blue and white stripes, blue shorts, blue socks, as John Beaton goes through the coin toss with the respective captains Graham Shinney and Kyle Vassell, and it will be Kilmarnock, by the looks of it, who will get us underway. They are going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand here. And as Willie said, a really healthy Kilmarnock support have made the journey up here, 1,600 or thereabouts in the away end, and a pretty good turnout from the home fans as well, all things considered. Looking to see their side get to another domestic semi-final, and who knows, maybe even one step further. But first things first, they've got to get back to winning ways if they're to do that this afternoon, as Kilmarnock do get us underway, launch it forward immediately. And it's Aberdeen though, trying to get down that left-hand side, no way through for Hoylett, who's in on that left flank once more, and Will Dennis able to clear long over the halfway line. Picked up by Devlin, who'll just roll it back to his goalkeeper Killarose, and he'll get it back once more, the right full-back, and he looks up the field and plays it to Jamie McGrath, who has indeed started on the right flank. Willie, we were just pondering as to whether Killie were going to change to a back three. I mean, it looks more like a four at the moment, doesn't it, with Corey and Daba in at that left back and Danny Armstrong very much on the right wing as opposed to a wing back position.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a four, you know, but that can change, and certainly Daba can get himself forward, and Armstrong can also play as a wing back as well. He has done in the past, so you know, as we're talking and saying it's a four, it's now looking like very much a 3/5, isn't it, with Armstrong going back? Well, listen, it's early in the game. We'll be able to bring that news as soon as we can confirm it.
Yeah, Darren McInnes, not only at Kilmarnock but at Aberdeen previously, kind of played that formation where it was pretty flexible. It could change, you know, within the game, within a split second. Kilmarnock have got a free kick to defend here. It's just inside their own half as Barron sends it towards the penalty area, but it's a good header away by Liam Donnelly, who I've been thoroughly impressed with in recent times. He's found a bit of fitness and got a run of games, and he and Polworth in the middle of the park for Kilmarnock have been hugely important in their good run of form. It's back with Kelleros, and he plays it short to Garteman midway inside his own half. Played a couple of minutes here. The opening goal, well, it's always crucial, isn't it? But I just feel that if Kilmarnock were to get it, I just wonder how the atmosphere would change inside. But it's a pretty positive atmosphere from the home fans at the moment, looking to, as I say, put their league travails to one side and have some joy in the cup as Shinney gets his head to the ball on the halfway line. Donnelly's there though for Kilmarnock, and then it's helped on by Armstrong. He goes down as if he were caught. Watkins battling away there. He's lost out. It's going to be a free kick to Aberdeen. Danny Armstrong back on his feet but limping away and shouting in the referee's direction that he was fouled, but it's an Aberdeen free kick just outside the centre circle, taken by Garteman down the left. He's looking for Hoylett. Right though is there first, and he just chests it back to Will Dennis in a pretty even 2 or 3 minutes here at Pittodrie, with the scoreline standing at Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, it's even, not a great deal happening, to be perfectly honest. Hasn't settled down yet. You know, we're still looking for, you know, one of the teams to get a bit of possession and start to perhaps dominate, and that hasn't happened. Mind you, we're only talking about 3 minutes into the game, so still plenty of time for that to happen. Phillips here playing the midfield area. Not seen too much of him. He looks a very energetic player. He covers a lot of ground. He's tall, he's athletic. Not too sure about the quality, so you know, I'm sure Neil Warnock will be hoping that quality comes to the fore this afternoon.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on that Kilmarnock formation. I mean, Watkins looks very much like he's playing through the middle, as he has been with Vassell. It's almost kind of lopsided. Well, there's no one really playing out on the left. It looks like they will ask Ndaba very much to be the one who gets into that position when they've got possession.
Yeah, well, he's capable of doing that.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of energy. He's a player that enjoys getting forward as well. Of course, you know, Jamie McGrath playing out in wide right is his job, I'm sure, would be try to keep Ndaba back the park and you know, make him having to think rather than the roles being reversed and Jamie McGrath having to chase back.
Yeah, and McGrath likes to drift away from that wide position as well, doesn't he? I think we were chatting previously about he's probably more effective in a more central area, and he's certainly in that role just at the moment as Ross tries to find Nicky Devlin. Just manages to keep it in play. Shinnie can't get it though. Watson's there, very energetic young man, looking to get the better of the veteran Shinnie, and he's been fouled in there. Back in the starting lineup, he of course popped up with a very late winner at Pittodrie back in December. 90th minute winner for David Watson, and he is a player who looks like he's got a massive amount of potential in the middle of the park, Willie.
Yeah, definitely. You know, certainly one for the future, but this is a moment, and you know, I think when you're in this situation away, you know, to Aberdeen, quarter-final of the Scottish Cup as well, what a moment that would be for him to repeat what he did and step up and be the important player to get that crucial first goal.
It's a free kick to Kilmarnock on the halfway line, taken by Armstrong into the back post. Right, wins the header, in it comes, but Kelly Ross able to gather under no particular pressure inside his own 6-yard box, and immediately tries to release Majowski down this right hand side. Armstrong though back matching him and winning the header. Derek McInnes animated on the touchline. Neil Warnock also just a few yards away from Derek McInnes. The two of them gave me a close eye on these early proceedings. 5.5 minutes gone, no goals at Pittodrie as it's played out by McDonald out to the left hand side to McKenzie. Now Hoylett tries to get it back to the fullback McKenzie, who's continued his run down the left flank, just turns away from Armstrong. Back it goes to Hoylett, about 35 yards from goal, coming in field, trying to shake off his marker, who's Joe Wright just at the moment. Back with McKenzie into the feet of McGrath, left hand side of the box. He's drifted in there. Hoylett then sends it in near post, and it was right into the arms of Dennis as Phillips slid in to try and get something on it. It was just too much on it for him to be able to connect, and after 6 minutes it's still 0-0.
Yeah, you know, he made an effort, but he was never going to get a touch on it. I think it was just played with too much pace. A curl on it as well. It was always drifting away from Phillips. Jack McKenzie, though, I think he's had a very good season. I was surprised he wasn't in the starting lineup last week. A lot of energy and directness, and he showed again what he was capable of. You know, in the build-up to that. To that move, and the cross coming in was just maybe a yard or so away from Phillips getting a touch on it.
Majowski jumping into right there, he's penalised, and it'll be another Killy free kick, more or less on the halfway line, just outside the centre circle, to be taken by Lewis Mayo, who will sit out the next game as a result of the red card he picked up against Dundee in a failed appeal, but he is available for this competition, and it's knocked into the penalty area but away by McDonald. McGrath dwelling on it, gets away with it as he was challenged there by Ndaba. Ndaba's won it back once more. It almost sells Mayo's shot there, and Majowski putting him under pressure, and Mayo just has to turn it out of play over on the far side. Aberdeen throwing, and certainly an energetic start to the game, but no moments of real quality as yet. 7.5 in, 0-0.
No, but you'd expect that, wouldn't you? You'd expect the importance of the game in the early stages, that the effort would be there. You know, I think both sides have taken the opportunity to get the ball forward very quickly. We haven't seen too much in terms of negative play, square passes or backward passes. You know, everything seems to be a forward pass, and at times, you know, maybe a little bit too long, the passes. I think, you know, from an Aberdeen point of view, you would think that in the midfield they would try to get a grip in that area and, you know, try to dominate the area and give the fans some hope and get the fans right behind them.
McGrath, who's still over on that left hand side. Hoylett's on the right at the moment, but it's McGrath in possession, clips it into the box, knocked away by Wright, and the home fans encouraged by this positive play at the outset. They've got it back again over on the left-hand side. Connor Barron, who scored that wonderful goal at St Mirren last weekend, only for it to be cancelled out and then some in injury time, as the points which Aberdeen thought they almost had in the bag quickly evaporated before their eyes, and it was another defeat to contend with. It's out for a throw-in now over on the far side to Kilmarnock, midway inside their own half, right in line with our commentary position. It's won by McDonald. Down the left-hand side it goes, and then Wright just swipes it out of play. A little bit untidy just at the moment, 9 minutes in.
It is, but you know, when you're talking about that reverse last week, that was a huge blow for Aberdeen. And to be perfectly honest, even in commentary when I was giving little updates, you could not see St Mirren scoring, and you know, for them to get the 2 goals in 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes of time added on, you know, I think Neil Warnock would have had to have worked mentally on the players to try and make sure that that's out their minds for the cup tie today.
Barron finds Majowski out to the left hand side for Hoylett. Hoylett trying to get past a combination there of Armstrong and Wright, and he's fouled Armstrong, much to the disbelief and annoyance of the home fans. But it will be a free kick to Kilmarnock just outside the penalty area as we approach the 10-minute mark. No real opportunities as yet for either side. I think, Willie, I mean, certainly from what Neil Warnock said after the game here just last month, when sorry, not here, but at Rugby Park when they lost 2-0, what he'll be looking for his side is to win, almost win the battle first, and then earn the right to go on and play.
He did point that out, didn't he, that he thought his side were bullied out the game. You know, and there is always a physical aspect, and you know, Kilmarnock are a tall, strong side as well, and I'm sure that he's been into the players to make sure that that doesn't happen this afternoon.
It's helped on by Wright down the right hand side, and out of play from McDonald, and it'll be a throw into Kilmarnock over on the far side. The Kelly Wright quickly taken by Wright to Mayo, who knocks it all the way back to Dennis just at the edge of his box. Derek McInnes speaking in the week about looking to keep the 3 loan players that he's had who have played regularly, Will Dennis being one of them, Corey and Daba among the others, as Majowski finds Hoylett with a back heel. It's a good strain, but it's into the back of the net from Jamie McGrath on the rebound. Will Dennis could only palm it into his path from the Hoylett shot, and Jamie McGrath was there to bounce. And the ideal start, the first real chance of the game, and it's in the back of the net. Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, it's pretty calamitous, isn't it? Stuart Finlay, I think it is, that dwells on the ball and allows Majowski to put him under pressure, and then when the strike comes in, you know, Will Dennis just parries it right out in front of McGrath, who does well, McGrath. You know, he sees the opportunity, gets a little sniff on it, but you know, for me, the chance should not have occurred. Stuart Finlay should have done much better. Good quality, I must say, from Majowski, though, to, you know, have the instinct to just do the little back heel into the path of Hoylett, the strike at goal, and Will Dennis just parrying it out to McGrath, who you know, just sees the opportunity. It wasn't a clean strike by McGrath either. It takes a little deflection off the goalkeeper, but it ends up in the back of the net. Great start for Aberdeen after, what, 12 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely ideal. It came from nothing, as you say. Finlay didn't really deal with the ball through the middle, and Majowski had the presence of mind to just back heel it into the path of Hoylett, whose shot was parried. Here come Aberdeen again, looking for a quick fire second. Phillips was looking for Majowski to run the opposite way from which he actually did run, and the chance is gone. But Aberdeen certainly had a lift from that opening goal. The first opportunity, as I say, of the game, and McGrath tucks it away from just a few yards out on hand when Will Dennis could do nothing more than just parry it into his path. And just the start Neil Warnock and Aberdeen would have hoped for. Kilmarnock looking to quickly try and redress the balance as Ndaba powers forward. Nicky Devlin comes out to Meerum, he slips it down the left for Vassell, who'll just keep it in play on the goal line. Back to Ndaba, crossing opportunity, it's a deep one. Watson goes down, the Kelly fans foul that he was pushed, didn't seem to be too much in it, but it's picked up by Armstrong, right hand side, and he's won his side a corner. The fans over there on the far side hoping for something more as David Watson has a word with John Beaton about. In fact, John Beaton's having a word with him more than anything else. I think probably suggesting he went down too easily, Willie.
Yeah, I think that's what the referee is suggesting. And listen, there's arms up, Jack McKenzie, but I don't think there's enough in that to warrant a penalty being given. I thought that Dave Watson went down way too easily. He was looking for it. There was a touch on him, but nothing that would suggest that a penalty needed to be given.
Corner's taken short between Polworth and Armstrong. It's back with Armstrong, shooting opportunity, but it's blocked by Shinnie at the edge of the penalty area, and Polworth picks up again in the right hand side, looking to move away from Barron. Again, Shinnie's in the way of the cross this time, and he knocks it out of play almost, but Armstrong's actually kept it in. Actually, he's nudged it out of play himself, and it'll be an Aberdeen throw in, and that worked out well for the Dons. 14 minutes in, and they've got the advantage here, Willie.
They have, yeah, and looking at them last week, I thought they defended much better. In Paisley. I think Neil Warnock settled now with a back four rather than tinkering with it and playing a back three sometimes and then reversing. Even within games, he's done that since he became the manager. And they'll need to be good defensively this afternoon. They've got their noses in front. A shutout sees them through this tie into the semi-final. That, I'm sure, is what the manager will be looking for.
Well, they haven't kept a clean sheet against Aberdeen, against Kilmarnock all season. But if they can do that, as Willie says, this afternoon, they will know that they will be in the last four, as Kilmarnock win themselves a free kick about 20 yards inside the Aberdeen half, pretty central area, and an opportunity for Kilmarnock to load the box here as Finlay and Daba make their way forward. Joe Wright as well, some good aerial presence in there. Marley Watkins and Kyle Vassell, no slouches in the air either, as Polworth and Armstrong stand over the free kick. Armstrong moves away, takes a position down that right flank, making himself available, but Polworth will just hoist this in towards the back post, and Daba goes up, he won't reach it, but it is back across goal. It was Finlay who was in there. Donnelly can't make anything of it, and now it's Jack McKenzie who's leading the charge forward, and he's powering over the halfway line. Across goes Watson to try and halt his progress. McKenzie's beyond him, but looks like Polworth just managed to see it out of play for a goal kick. Good backtracking there from the midfielder, but McKenzie, you were complimenting him earlier on, Willie, and that was a good forceful run forward.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You're talking about 18-yard box, the almost byline, taking on players. He's galloping forward, he's direct, he's posing the question to the Kilmarnock players and how to deal with that strength and energy. I think he's had a very good season, maturing extremely well, and that's what he can offer to the team. That power, that directness going forward, which is always difficult to control.
I remember him describing Kieran Tierney as his role model, and that was very Tierney-esque in his early days, kind of drive forward from left back and all the way towards the opposition goal, but the goal kick was the end result, and Kilmarnock have it back on the halfway line. We've played 16.5 minutes. It's Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0 in this first Scottish Cup quarter-final tie, as Finlay now bounds forward for Kilmarnock, as Barron can't stop him, and he's at the byline, he cuts it into the penalty area. Watkins felt like he was being blocked off there, but the ball's cleared out of the penalty area. Majowski gets in the way of the pass, can't keep possession, he brings Watson down about 30 yards from goal, and Kilmarnock will have another free kick. The two managers out there, both with their hands in the air, claiming one for one thing, one for the other, but it will be a Kilmarnock free kick, and this is dangerous, Willie.
It is, yeah. They're screaming for a handball. I think it's Gartenman that it went close to his arm, but it's bounced up. I don't even think it's hit his arm. I think it's more his hip that it's come off of. So no penalty, but the free kick given, and it gives Kilmarnock an opportunity. It's quite far out though. You're talking 30 yards or so.
Polworth and Armstrong, the players over. It's just left of centre, more or less, as Willie says, 30 yards out. Aberdeen have got 3 men in the wall just outside the penalty area, as Polworth with the right foot or Armstrong with the left are the potential takers. Looks like Polworth is going to leave it to Armstrong, who clips it to the back post rather than going directly for goal, and Aberdeen managed to deal with it and knock it out of play. over on the far side, and it'll be a Kilmarnock throw. A decent response from Kelly for having gone behind, and Armstrong is going across there to take the throw in, but I think actually is the flag go up, and it's going to be an Aberdeen ball in the end.
Yeah, I don't know, might have been offside perhaps from the free kick. It was a decent free kick, Armstrong just clipping it. You know, it's a tight angle for him to really make anything out of that one, and perhaps too far out for him to strike it goal, so he goes for the cross. It was decent, but you know, I think it was Finlay actually that went just too early.
Ball's knocked down the Aberdeen left by Shinnie, and now Phillips helping it on. Donnelly though is there to hoist it back over the halfway line, and Vassell will give chase up against McDonald, just nudges him off the ball and gets it back to Armstrong, who's got time to measure a pass here to Polworth in the edge of the box. Closed down quickly by Barron, breaks to Vassell inside the penalty area. The volley on the turn over the top from Vassell. A very, very difficult technique to execute that one. Good skill in the first instance to control it, but to spin and volley that and to get it under the crossbar would have been hugely impressive had he managed it. Didn't quite, and it's over the bar, and it's still Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0.
It'd have been sensational, wouldn't it, if he'd have managed to find you know, the net with that one. Really good control, you know, not actually facing the goal, he's facing away from the goal, so he's got to control it with the knee, he's got to get it up, and he's got to turn in the one movement. Unfortunately for him though, you know, the finish wasn't matched by the skill preceding it, and went well over the bar.
20 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock have got themselves another free kick, this time midway inside their own half, and as I say, the response to going behind Willie's been not too bad. I mean, still no real threat to Kelleros as such, but they're very much still in the game. It's been good, it's been positive. I think that's all you can ask for. You know, it's a huge blow. It was a goal out of nothing. I mean, a ball just right down the middle. Stuart Finley's got to do much better. He loses the flight of the ball. He then slips and falls, you know, and it gives Aberdeen the opportunity to get that early lead. So they've got to respond to it. They've reacted extremely well. I think Derek McInnes will be pleased with that aspect. He won't be pleased with the quality of the goal and the quality of the defending, I'm sure for that. But they have, you know, they're beginning to dominate the ball as well. That's Armstrong lifting it forward, looking for the run of Watkins. He's in behind. Garterman just gets the toe to the ball though and knocks it out for a corner, but Kilmarnock on the offensive once more. Yeah, Finlay certainly at fault for the goal, but he has been highly impressive since coming back to the club for a third spell, and he was one of the other players who are on loan, who Derek McInnes is keen to keep if at all possible. Killy corner on the right hand side again, it's just touched short. This time it's whipped into the box by Polworth, and it was met at the near post there by Donnelly, and he's angry with himself. He kicks the post because he puts it wide. He had a big chance against Rangers fairly similarly, and he needs to hit the target on this occasion as well. I mean, it's really well worked in it, in terms of the little short pass and then the curling cross into the box, and Donnelly does get himself free, but you know what, I don't think he sees it, and I think he sees it late and he's got to react to it. The action wasn't good enough, puts it by the post, but a dangerous and well worked set piece there. He was a little bit frustrated afterwards. I can understand fully, because he's at that near post, he gets a header on it, but for me I don't think he sees it until very, very late, and a difficult one to react to. A battle there between Ndaba and McGrath for possession, and Ndaba comes out on top, and then it's lifted across for Armstrong, who's seen plenty of the ball. It's out for a throw in to Kelly. Armstrong keen to take it quickly, but in the end he's just going to delay and allow these taller players to come forward into the penalty area, because he does have a good long throw on him, Danny Armstrong, among various things in his armoury. And on the right hand side he's lining one up about 25 yards from the corner flag, looking to try and create a Kilmarnock equaliser as we hit the midway point in this first half. It's a low trajectory on the throw, and it's a good header away by McDonald, and then Hoylett helps it on. Watson's there and gets it back out in the direction of Armstrong, but Hoylett picked up and he was fouled, and it's a Aberdeen free kick. A bit of pressure relieved on their back line, and they'll be able to move up the park. 22, almost 23 minutes played. It's Aberdeen 1 thanks to Jamie McGrath's 12th minute tap in. Kilmarnock 0. Yeah, you know, to me
surely it's a word in Polworth's ear there, and you know, there's no doubt that it's cynical, and he takes Hoylett out the game when, you know, the winger had you know, a fair bit of space behind the midfield player, but the referee just ignores it, just gives a free kick. But I thought that at the very least a little word in his ear.
Free kick taken right up into the Kilmarnock penalty area. Finlay gets his head to that one. Shinnie returns it. Phillips is in there, almost getting on the end of the header, but it's gathered in the end by Will Dennis as Phillips just slid in trying to get something on Shinnie's header, but just evaded him, and it's safely into the arms of the keeper. And now it's up the other end as Polworth picks up midway inside the Aberdeen half, out to the left for Ndaba. Ndaba, a couple of touches, then plays it back infield to Polworth. Barron though sticks a foot in and gets a touch in the ball, and it's back with Ndaba though, halfway line. Finlay all the way back to his goalkeeper at the edge of his penalty area. Majowski will go and close him down, but Dennis gets it clear down the right hand side. Joe Wright is there, just tries to flick it on into the path of Armstrong, gets turned on that right hand side up against McKenzie, midway inside the Aberdeen half, trying to get past McKenzie. He's been beaten actually. Armstrong at the byline tries to poke it into the 6-yard box, and now the assistant's flag goes up on the far side to indicate that it's gone out for a corner kick. And Kilmarnock, as we say, Willie, they are in the search for this equaliser.
There's no doubt about it. You know, at this moment in time, they're playing the better football. They're looking at a threat. Armstrong, on that occasion, taking on Jack McKenzie. He's got to be stronger defensively, I would suggest, the Aberdeen left back, but really positive and strong play from Armstrong, getting to the byline and winning the corner. It could have been much, much worse.
Another short corner taken. Polworth whips it in. Up rises Stuart Finlay, can't keep the header down. Over the top, Derek McInnes down below, disappointed, although applauding, I think, the general reaction from his players since having gone behind. They have been arguably the better side since losing that goal, but they do trail by a goal to nil, crucially, as Kelly Ross prepares to take the goal kick. Those short corners are working well for Aberdeen, aren't they, Willie?
For Kilmarnock.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, you know, from the right hand side, and it's good interlink play, and you know, the ball's been very accurately delivered into the box, and you know, Kilmarnock got a fair bit of height there as well, and Aberdeen haven't been the best at picking up in these set piece situations. It's a bit of a slap in the head from Vassell, is it not?
That's pretty needless as well, wasn't it? You know, because he wasn't going to get the ball, and
silly.
The home crowd not happy, Garterman neither, and John Beaton's going to have a word here with the Killie captain. Just pushed Garterman in the back of the head more than anything else, knocked him to the ground, and it will be a free kick to Aberdeen midway inside their own half, and a talking to this time for Kyle Vassell, who looked just to be frustrated that he wasn't going to latch on to the through ball. The Aberdeen fans, I think, looking for a yellow card there, but John Beaton keeping him in his pocket.
I'm just trying to wonder what his defence is there, Vassell. I mean, there's no doubt he just slaps him in the back of the head, and Garterman goes down. I don't know if there was enough force in it for him to go down, but at the same time, I think it's pretty much unsporting-like from the main striker of Kilmarnock.
McGrath goes down under the challenge from Ndaba. Again, the home fans rise and claim for the free kick, but Ndaba's given it away. Devlin whips it into the penalty area. Good work from Joe Wright, just managing to keep possession under pressure there from Hoylett, and then hacked away by Finlay. Garterman's won it back in the edge of the centre circle, but it's a poor pass from the centre back. Straight out of play on this near side, and Ndaba will quickly take the throw into Polworth. Back to Ndaba, left hand side, slides it forward. Devlin's there on the halfway line, looking for Hoylett, but Mayo's first to it. Shinnie wins the header on the halfway line. McGrath helps it forward, looking for Majowski. Finlay beats him to it. Header back up towards that halfway line. Ndaba then, and it's a battle in the middle of the park right at the moment. Watson gets onto it momentarily, then Garterman steps in, finds Devlin down the right flank. Finlay reads it, plays it forward. Hoylett though picks up. Hoylett on the right. Majowski makes a move. Good skill and good pass for Majowski on the goal line now. Plays it back into McGrath, right hand side of the box, trying to slip it to a teammate, but Polworth intercepted, unable to clear his lines. Picked up by McDonald, and out to Devlin on the right hand side. McGrath's got a bit of space here, right hand side of the penalty area, tries to clip it in. It's a poor cross. Header clear comes to Barron on the edge of the box, tracked by Vassell. Good bit of pressure this from Aberdeen as Devlin plays it back in. Phillips rises, gets his head to it, out to the left hand side to Hoylett, back into the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Mayo, picked up by McKenzie now as Aberdeen look to try and create something to get a second goal in the game. Shinnie slides it forward, Hoylett on for McKenzie. McKenzie has a good ball, but no one had really read the pass to that near post. McGrath couldn't get there. Dennis dives on it, and it remains after 28 minutes. Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, it's another example of Jack McKenzie getting forward, but you know, I think the qualities cross has got to be better. Hoylett, a lovely little flick onto him. I think he can take a touch, go towards the byline and then drill it across the face of the goal. He takes it, in my book, far too early and very wasteful, and it's an easy take for Will Dennis and the Kilmarnock goal.
1-0 the home side lead, looking for just a second win under Neil Warnock. The last game in the previous round against Bonnyrigg Rose, 2-0 victory here. No wins in the last 5 since then, which is not a record that either Neil Warnock or the Aberdeen fans are happy with. It's going to be a throw into Aberdeen over on the far side, but John Beaton wants a word with Phillips and Armstrong across there for a tussle that was going on. A fairly stern word in the ear of both the players. But again,
wasn't a great deal in it, was it? Really, I mean, you know, a little bit of argy-bargy, a bit of misunderstanding. Perhaps Phillips not happy with Armstrong, who kind of fell on top of him, but you know, I thought it was purely accidental.
It's a throw into Kelly over on the far side, midway inside their own half, as the half-hour mark approaches. 1-0 the Dons lead. Jamie McGrath's 12th minute goal giving them the edge thus far, but Kilmarnock have been very much in it without having really forced Kelly Ross into a meaningful save as yet. Here's Watkins battling away with McDonald. McDonald gets the better of him there. Watson tries to see it out of play, just back heels it off Shinnie in the end. It's a Kelly throw again, 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half, right hand side, quickly taken by Wright into Polworth, back to Wright, plays it square this time for Finlay, right on the halfway line. It's a poor pass from the centre back, looking for Ndaba, far too much on it, out of play for an Aberdeen throw this time, midway inside their own half on their own right flank, to be taken by Nicky Devlin.
He's not looking particularly confident, you know, Stuart Finlay, is he? You know, that was just an awful pass, plenty of time as well. He just needs to roll it to Ndaba. He rifles it out there, and it's nowhere near his teammate, and it goes out for the throw-in. So it's kind of a sign of a player that is perhaps lacking in confidence, and the part that he played in that first goal I can understand.
Another Aberdeen throw-in just inside the Kilmarnock half on the right for Devlin to take, looking for Phillips. Ndaba gets his head to it though. Cross comes Mayo, just knocks it out of play down near the corner flag as Aberdeen move forward that right hand side. Devlin again will take the throw in, just a few yards away from the corner flag on this near side as we look at it from the back of the main stand. Devlin will try and get this into the penalty area, or perhaps he'll throw it short to Jamie McGrath, who comes and offers himself. Devlin gets it back once more, then Barron. He'll win the corner kick off the back of Watkins, who closed them down. And Barron, whose contract is coming to an end here at Pittodrie, and certainly every time I've seen him recently, been a really important player for Aberdeen. It'll be a big loss if he goes for nothing.
Yeah, there's no sign of him actually signing that contract either. He's playing the long game, and it looks as though he's just going to run it out.
Shinnie to take the corner then from the right hand side, left footed, curls into the 6-yard box. Watson wins the header high in the air. Gartenman keeps it alive inside the box, and Ndaba then plays it out on that far side. Another Aberdeen throw in on the far side this time. Hoylett will take it quickly back to Barron, midway inside the Kilmarnock half, back out to Hoylett, left hand side up against Armstrong. It's a low cross in. McGrath touches it back. Shinnie takes the shot on goal! Graham Shinnie with a right foot rocket into the top corner. A slight deflection helped on his way. Will Dennis had no chance. It's Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 0.
It certainly is. He doesn't score too many goals, Graham Shinnie, but that is a huge goal for the club, and it was magnificently struck just inside the box. It's Hoylett who's been, extremely productive down the left-hand side. McGrath just laying it off to Shinnie, supporting from the midfield, just gets his head over it, and he bullets it into the top corner. An incredible strike. Give Aberdeen that second goal.
I've just seen I'm fairly sure it took a nick on its way through.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Graham Shinnie really got hold of it. As you say, he doesn't score many goals, just his second of the season. He certainly doesn't score many with the right foot. That's probably as well as he's hit a right foot effort in his days as a professional player. And the little nick just helped it past Will Dennis, that's for sure. But certainly a Graham Shinnie goal, a second of the season, as I say, and it's got Aberdeen 2-0 up here after 34 minutes in a really strong position now. And is this as well as they've played, Willie, in the time you've seen them under Neil Warnock?
I don't know if it's as well. Under Neil Warnock, probably yes, but they haven't been outstanding, I don't think. This afternoon, I think it's been quite an even game, to be perfectly honest. But they've been clinical when they've had the opportunities. They've stuck them in the back of the net, and that's the difference, I think, just now between the two teams, is that Aberdeen have managed to create and take the opportunities, and they find themselves 2-0 up, and a huge challenge for Kilmarnock now to turn this one round.
Certainly is. We've got just over 10 minutes left in the first period as Aberdeen win themselves a free kick in the edge of the box. So I know Shinnie's coming for some criticism from the home fans. I guess the whole team have, obviously, for some of the performances and results. I was reading some of his comments in midweek about needing to be more horrible, which he says is something that Killie are good at. Well, they've certainly matched them in the battle so far, but crucially they've also had the two moments of technical ability as well to get the goals, and that is what's given Neil Warnock's side the advantage in the opening period here. And here they come again, looking for a third before half-time. Majowski lays it off to McGrath, who's had a part in both goals. Now Devlin across the face of goal, and then Dennis grabs it before Majowski can latch on in the 6-yard box. But Aberdeen threatening once more. Does remain Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, they're opening up Kilmarnock now, aren't they? They've got the confidence, the crowd's behind them as well. They've got that impetus, and then another opportunity. Will Dennis, quite fortunate. I thought he'd actually spilt the cross as it came in. It was a difficult one for him to take, but he managed to recover the situation. But Aberdeen on fire at this moment in time.
Yeah, and here's Barron, who's been heavily involved as well. He's dispossessed though by Finlay. His pass forward only finds Garteman, who just hammers it forward. It's one for Hoylett to chase up against Lewis Mayo. Hoylett's managed to get himself in between Mayo and the ball and picks up possession on the right hand side, and goes down rather dramatically as Mayo nicks the ball off him, and Kilmarnock can try and come forward. Mayo switches it out to the right hand side, and Joe Wright bombing forward for Killie as they look for a goal back before half time. Into the penalty area he goes, then out to the right for Armstrong. Watson's calling for it. Armstrong's gone for goal, but he's got it 2 or 3 yards well wide of that far post as he tried to just bend it in past Keller Rose. Didn't hit the target, and it will remain Aberdeen 2, Killie 0.
The idea was right, wasn't it, after great work from Wright, but it's got to be perfect, that kind of a strike. He's on his left foot, he's trying to find the top corner, far top corner. He's giving it plenty of curl, but as you said, Al, it's at the end of the day, it's quite well past that far post.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've had a shot on target as yet. Keller Rose, I don't recall him making a save of any sort thus far, and that'll be a disappointment to Derek McInnes, whose side trail currently by 2-0 as Watson plays it over the halfway line. Mackenzie though gets his boot to it, and it's the captain Shinnie who's dragged to the ground by Watson. Aberdeen free kick just inside the Kilmarnock half as Shinnie slowly picks himself up. His only other goal also came in cup competition. Here's Hoylett with the free kick quickly taken then on the left hand side of the box, looking to cause some havoc. Danny Armstrong keeping him at bay just for the moment. Now back with Barron. Mackenzie demands it from him, but 30 yards from goal, back out to the left hand side for McGrath. He's challenged but keeps possession. and he's into the penalty area now, touches it back for Hoylett, back comes Vassell to stab it away from danger before Hoylett could do something with it inside the penalty area. And Aberdeen looking threatening when they come forward, Willie.
They are, you know. Hoylett's at the centre of just about every move. He looks a really direct player, willing to take defenders on, a real thorn on the side. Jim McGrath showing real commitment to the cause there, not giving up and managing somehow to win possession back.
Shinney's ball into the box, headed away by Wright. Shinney will pick up once more. He's got a taste for it now. He goes for goal again. That's a more tame effort though than his goal on the left foot this time. He just really didn't connect with it properly at all, and it's an easy take for Will Dennis. But you can certainly see the confidence that they've got from the two goals really in this first half. The Aberdeen are, everyone wants to get on the ball, don't they?
Yeah, that's what goals does for you. I think coming from such a low mental state after that incredible defeat in Paisley last week, then they've dealt with that particularly well. You get the goals, you haven't created too many opportunities, but when the goals start flying in, then you grow in confidence. And 2-0, and they've been I said last week they defended extremely well so far. This afternoon they've defended well too, so at this moment in time it's looking particularly good for the home side, but I thought the away side was looking particularly good last week, and we all know what happened there.
Aberdeen throw on the left hand side, forward it comes. Phillips wins the header, but knocked away by Mayo up towards the halfway line where Devlin gets his head to it. Then Finlay likewise for Kilmarnock, and Wright helps it on once more into the feet of the former Aberdeen player Marley Watkins, who hasn't had much joy this afternoon. He has had an excellent season, you'd have to say. Top scorer for Kelly as Barron picks up possession from Kelleros just outside his own penalty area, plays it square for Garteman on the right hand side, back to Barron, who's the deepest Aberdeen outfield player just at the moment. Garteman again on the right hand side, tries to play it down the line. It comes off the head of Vassell actually, and breaks for Watson. Now it's Watkins outside the penalty area trying to get his way through. Polworth picks up, left hand side is Vassell into the penalty area. He comes a little step over, can he keep it in? Stands up to the back post, there's Armstrong with the goal, and Killian right back in it before half time. Excellent work from Kyle Vassell to create the opportunity, and there was Danny Armstrong to sweep it past Kelleros, and it's all of a sudden back in the melting pot. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time to get that goal back, isn't it? Give Kilmarnock a lift, and you're right, Vassell was brilliant, but Nicky Devlin's got to do better defensively, I feel. The striker's out there, he tries to show him to the line, but a little dip of the shoulder from Vassell sends Devlin the wrong way. He manages to get that space, and then at the back post, Danny Armstrong coming in. It's a controlled left foot strike. He finds that bottom corner, side of the foot, passes it almost into the back of the net to give Kilmarnock that lifeline.
2-1 then before half time. Excellent first half here at Pittodrie, and Aberdeen all of a sudden nerves may begin to jangle again amongst the players, the fans, everyone inside Pittodrie, who have seen their side has such a roller coaster season, if you like, because there were some good performances in Europe, a League Cup final, but the league form has of course dipped dramatically of late. In fact, it's never really been all that good this season, has it, in truth, in the league. But they looked they were in a commanding position, but that Danny Armstrong goal, his 8th of the season, his 2nd in the Scottish Cup, has just put the cat back amongst the pigeons, you would have to say.
Yeah, I'm sure Derek McInnes will be delighted with the response that his players have shown. They looked as though, perhaps Aberdeen creating opportunities after getting that second goal might add to the second goal, and then that is a major hurdle to try and conquer. But they've got that goal back. It was well worked, as I said. Nicky Devlin, he kind of takes the dummy with his shoulder as Vassell goes back the park, and that opens up the opportunity for Vassell to hit the byline. It's a great cross to the back post and a really cool finish.
It actually came, Willie, initially, if you remember, Gartman had the ball down in that kind of right back position. He tried to play it down the line. It came off the back or the head of Kyle Vassell. It was a poor ball forward, and that's what caused the initial confusion. And Aberdeen didn't recover from that. Kilmarnock creating the goal that's got them back in the game. And Danny Armstrong, the man who, well, he's been probably their top player this season, certainly most creative, and he's got them back into it before half time. We've got a couple of minutes left of the opening 45. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1. A fascinating game so far in the Scottish Cup, the first of the quarter-final ties, all of which you'll hear live here on Sports Sound. A couple more tomorrow, and then Morton Hearts on Monday night, which we've also got on the BBC Scotland channel, and looking forward to that one as well. As Armstrong takes a throw-in out on that far side. It's come to Watkins on the edge of the penalty area, finds Watson into the middle of the box. It goes, but Devlin gets there before Vassell can latch onto it as Kilmarnock finish the first half on the front foot. It's going to be a throw-in to Kelly again. In fact, no, it's not. There's a flag up. It's going to be offside, actually, I reckon, and it's an Aberdeen free kick. So that pressure alleviated for the moment.
Yeah, you know, I think the Kilmarnock getting that goal back, it's given them a huge lift. And Aberdeen, you know, kind of haven't responded particularly well to that goal. Obviously disappointing that the heads go down a little bit, that they've been under pressure. They haven't managed to regain control of the midfield. And I think that's what they've got to try and do. Listen, Conor Barron's a very good player in there, and they can control the midfield. Aberdeen have got to try and get the ball down, keep a little bit of possession, and just to restore the confidence and you know, their ability to control this game.
Yeah, we're talking about the confidence coursing through the Aberdeen veins, but I guess with the way things have been going, it's a kind of fragile confidence at that, isn't it?
Well, it is, you know, and then the fans get a little bit, you know, frustrated as well, and that then, you know, pours onto the field of play, and then you really need big characters out there. You need the characters to be able to get through the disappointment of losing that goal. And also looking back, the amount of goals that they've lost this season, you know, it's not acceptable, the amount of goals that Aberdeen have lost this season for a club of their size.
The frustration was growing there from the Aberdeen fans as Danny Armstrong went down under a challenge from Hoylett and wins his side a free kick, which he's about to take himself about 20 yards inside the Aberdeen half, right on the touchline over on the far side. The Kelly right, here's Armstrong stepping up, left-footed, sends it into the danger area. It's a good header from Gartman, but it does come to Polworth at the edge of the box, and he goes for goal, but it's straight down the throat of Keller Rose, and a good take from the Dutch keeper to keep the scoreline as we go into 2 minutes of added on time at Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1.
Yeah, it was straight at him though, wasn't it, to Polworth? You know, having to take his time, the ball coming out the air, he gets it down, he's got it under control in terms of when he wants to just pull the trigger and volley it towards the Aberdeen goal, but it's straight at Roos. It's quite an easy take in my book for the Aberdeen goalkeeper. I'd be very surprised if he didn't deal with that comfortably, and he did.
Aberdeen throwing over on the far side, midway inside the Kilmarnock half, into the final minute of those two that were added on, as Mackenzie prepares to take the throw in with his side a 1-goal advantage going in at the break, unless they can add another here as Shinnie picks up left hand side, ball forward for McGrath, who's popping up all over the place. He's on the left hand side just now trying to find a bit of space, slips it into Hoylett. It's a good play again from McGrath, and then Hoylett finds Mackenzie almost in the goal line, whips it into the penalty area, dealt with by Mayo, gets out of the box, but Hoylett will pick up once more and get back into the penalty area, tries to find Majowski, and Dava gets there just ahead of him. McGrath nods it back to Barron, and he goes back over the halfway line to Garteman, who takes a poor first touch and then just hammers it up back into the Kilmarnock penalty area, and Dava clears once more. McGrath gets his head to it. Devlin under pressure from Donnelly, who knocks it out of play as John Beaton's half-time whistle sounds and Pittodrie rises. Applause from all sets of fans. The Aberdeen supporters delighted with the way their side began the game, and they opened up a 2-goal advantage as initially Junior Hoylett's shot parried by Will Dennis, and there was Jamie McGrath in the 12th minute to tap in and give them a 1-goal lead. And then on 33, Hoylett and McGrath both involved again. This time it was a McGrath layoff into the path of the captain Graham Shinney, who rocketed it with the right foot and the aid of a deflection past Dennis into the top corner to make it 2. But just 4 minutes before the interval, Kilmarnock got themselves right back into it. Terrific work from Vassell on the left-hand side. Good ball into the box. It was swept in by Danny Armstrong to make the half-time scoreline at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1.
The Scottish Cup.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Where Scottish football lives.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. A terrific first half at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1. Michael Stewart is alongside me in the studio. My goodness, Aberdeen were romping away with that one, Michael. The feel-good factor perhaps looking like returning there, but there'll be real nerves now as a result of that Danny Armstrong goal right in the stroke of half-time.
Well, it's certainly going to test Aberdeen, that's for sure. Yeah, you're right. I mean, look, they couldn't have wished or hoped for a better start to get themselves 2-0 in front. And you could start to see there was a bit of belief and confidence coming back into the side. But you can't write Kilmarnock off for all the reasons that I think everybody recognises in regards to, as I said before, it's a team of substance. It's a team that believe in themselves. They're 2-0 down away at Pittodrie. And that goal just before half-time from Danny Armstrong is a massive one, because it will give Kilmarnock that belief that there's still something in the game for them, and it plants that seed of doubt in a team who are already full of doubt. So it's going to be a very interesting second half.
That first goal, we have to put that down to a goalkeeper error, don't we?
I wouldn't slaughter the goalkeeper for it, but certainly looking at it, I think that it's close enough to him that I'd be looking to the goalkeeper to try and get his 2 hands on it, because he can see it's in the vision, in his line of sight, that Jamie McGrath is running in on him, and he must know and understand that if he doesn't hold that ball, Jamie McGrath is going to tap it into the back of the net. And I think it's not as if it's a strike that's got so much pace on it that there's nothing else he can do, and I think it's close enough to his body that he should be looking to try to get 2 hands on it and at least smother it, where he's then capable of potentially challenging Jamie McGrath next, or holding on to it itself so that the attacker can't get onto it. He lays it on a plate for McGrath, and it's very difficult for the Irishman to miss at that point.
Your assessment, Willie Miller, of that first 45?
Yeah, listen, it's been exciting because we've had goals. It's not pretty to watch, to be honest, but there's plenty of energy there. It's going from end to end. There's plenty of intent to always play a forward pass, which is, I think quite a lot of the football's changed the second half of the season. A lot of teams have kind of went from the slow build-up, or maybe starting goal kicks, be playing it to the centre backs, and they're going more direct, and there's been goal mouth action. So it's been a good first 45. I'm not trying to, dull it down in any way. I just don't think the quality at times has been good enough. Neither side have really dominated the game. They've had their moments, they've had their periods in the game where they've been in control. When Aberdeen make the second goal, get the second goal, you think that they're going to start to dominate the game, get more possession in midfield, but they haven't done that. And with that goal coming close to half time for Kilmarnock, that gives them a huge lift, gives Derek McInnes something to work on at half time to send his team out and test Aberdeen, because they will be fragile, as Mikey said there. They will be fragile mentally. They get the 2 goals, everything's going fine for them, they're up, everybody's doing their bit, they're full of energy, they're full of positivity. And then you lose a goal, and the doubts start to creep into the mind. That the fans start to turn a little bit. They haven't turned, too much, but a little bit. Whenever maybe it is a poor pass, the groans are let out, and you've got to be able to deal with that as a team. And this season, Aberdeen haven't dealt with it. I think it's going to be a really interesting second half. The tie is certainly still on.
Well, just to dispel any rumours. What would you do if you were in the changing room as assistant manager?
You need to explain that comment, Michael, that question. You need to explain that.
I would ask Neil. What do you think we should do in the second half? I would give him his head, and let him make the decisions. Is that not what a good number 2 does?
Yeah, probably.
So this, Michael, is in reference to Neil Lennon has said this week he'd be interested in speaking to Aberdeen, he'd be interested in the job, and this was put to Neil Warnock.
Yeah, and he wasn't particularly happy, and he was asking if Willie was going to be his assistant. He was obviously getting a little bit prickly at some criticism, but I mean, look,
it does hurt though, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, and just to touch on it quickly, I don't see why Neil Warnock should be upset about Neil Lennon's professing his interest in the job, because it's not his job beyond the season. It's not like Neil Lennon saying, I want the job tomorrow. He's wanting the job when it's available in the summer. It's not a similar circumstance to a manager being in position under pressure and somebody else saying, I'd love that job.
You don't think though, that Neil Warnock would take it that Neil Lennon was saying, I'm ready now. Get me in now. I'm available. I'm not getting the Ireland job. You don't think maybe that's what annoyed Warnock? No?
Is that for me or Willie?
You.
For me? No, I don't. Well, I certainly didn't see it as Neil Lennon saying that at all. But I mean, look, yeah, it's the biggest thing for Aberdeen at this moment in time is with this game here, and if they're able to see out the second half and get themselves into the next round of the cup, it's a massive win for Aberdeen. And you would like to try to think that it would be able to help them to steer away from the relegation zone that they're angling towards at the moment. But I certainly was of the mind that when Neil Warnock came in, it was a bit of a bizarre one, because I didn't feel like Aberdeen were in danger of being relegated, that there was time and space for them to make the right appointment without fear of needing somebody to turn it around immediately. But they're in the danger zone now, and Neil Warnock is in the position, and he's got to come up with the answers. It's his job at the moment, and he's got to do that, because it's simply not good enough for Aberdeen at the moment. But that first half, 2 goals at home, is a great start. 2-1, as Willie and I have just said, it certainly puts a different slant on it, and the questions are going to be posed of Aberdeen now, and they've got to stand up and be counted again.
Willie, have there been improvements across the past 2 games? Obviously a very sore one for the fans. You were there last Saturday in Paisley. But in terms of the performance, were there signs of improvement there that have carried on to this afternoon's game?
I think in Paisley against St Mirren, I thought defensively, in particular the second half, I thought defensively they were very strong. And that's been a weakness from them all season, the amount of goals that they give up, and they give up far too easily. But they went to the back 4. I did say that I was surprised that Jack McKenzie didn't play last week. I think probably this week he's forward play, although he's got to do it more. There's been 3-4 occasions where he's just bombed down that left-hand side. I think he's kind of drifted out the game when Aberdeen went 2-0 up. Maybe that's instruction from the manager. I'm not so sure. But defensively last week I thought they were much better. But they don't create enough opportunities, Kenny. They just simply don't. I think Junior Hoylett's been pretty impressive this afternoon. He's a very direct player. He's got good body movement as well. He can go both sides too, and he's been important and most of the build-ups for the Dons. The strike towards goal as well for the McGrath goal, one that I think a goalkeeper should have saved, and as Mikey says, perhaps actually managed to keep a hold of the ball. But last week there was an improvement, but the games that I've watched under Neil Warnock, it seems to be an experiment in every game. It's a different team, maybe a different formation, sometimes playing well in the first half, not so well in the second, and vice versa. So there's been very little consistency there, and the results have been just depressing. I think the last 6 games are the worst team in the league, with just the 2 points taken from 6 games, which it's quite incredible for the quality of player that Aberdeen has. They've definitely been underperforming. They've shown signs of it this afternoon, of the quality that they do have, but I think they've got to do it more often, more consistently within games, and mentally they've got to be stronger, and it'll be a real test for them. Be interesting to see how they handle the second half.
Jamie McGrath, I was just going to say, obviously he's in position to capitalise on Dennis not holding on to the ball, and for Shinnie's goal as well, it's a great touch. The ball gets fired in, and he's able to take the sting out of it and lay it off for Shinnie. I mean, he's somebody that's obviously been through a lot of pain, with Dundee United last season. And sometimes my fear is with good players like that. I mean, look, if I was at Aberdeen, I would take him all day long because I think he's a quality player. But your fear is that there can be a little bit of mental scarring from what has gone on this previous season. And unfortunately for him, he's been, in a side this season who are struggling. But I do still think that, in the right side, Jamie McGrath is somebody that's got real quality, and you could bring it to the fore. He's the type of guy that can score, he can create.
Playing in the right position, of course.
Yes, of course. And today, he's come up with two big moments there.
Yeah, just looking at the match stats and also some comments coming in from our colleague James McFadden. So the match stats, 51% possession for the home side, 4 shots to Killy's 6, 4 shots, they're all on target for the home side, just 2 in target for the away side, Michael. James McFadden saying the game, of course, is in BBC Scotland television. Aberdeen have taken the game to Kilmarnock. They've been physical, and Kelly haven't been able to get too close to them. We're set up for a brilliant second half. We're seeing some replays in here, Michael. A couple of half-hearted penalty claims from Kelly, but you didn't seem to think there was much in it.
No, there was nothing. One was at the back post with Shinnie and Jack McKenzie, and I think it was Watson that was in at the back post. I mean, look, it was nothing. It was just a coming together. Football's a contact sport. You're going to have contact from time to time. There was nothing in it. And then the other one was the ball got cut back and it bounced up and ricocheted off Gartman's arm. I mean, again, his arm's right by his side. It was nothing. There was absolutely nothing in it. But this second half is basically the question that has been posed of Aberdeen for most of this season. Have they got the character to find the result? Mm-hmm. And this is it, right here and laid bare for Aberdeen. They're at home. They're 2-1 in front against a good side, a side that have got a lot to play for this season. And the questions are going to be getting posed of them big time. And they're either going to be able to come up with the answers and get themselves through to the next round, which will help them build into the league campaign, or they're going to capitulate again, and then the pressure is just going to mount even more. Yeah,
it's right, Will, isn't it? This is a huge second half because, as Michael said, another Hampden appearance possibly on the cards. It could have a very positive impact as they try to fight themselves away from that relegation playoff spot. But if they do capitulate in this second half, you just wonder what the ramifications could be for that. There's been a lot of talk this week about Neil Warnock's position, hence the conversations with Neil Lennon, etc. So this is a huge 45 minutes coming up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a season, isn't it? It's going to define the season. It's looking very much like bottom 6, and I've been through it before with the club and having to broadcasting these games. It's not where you want to be, that's for sure. It's not where the Aberdeen fans want to be, but that looks like reality. So this gives you hope. Listen, they've had the League Cup final to look forward to. If they can get into the semi-final, it will certainly lift this crowd and it will make them more optimistic, and as Michael says, I think it will help the league form as well.
Yeah, and just looking at the options that Derek McInnes has on the bench, you've got Greg Stewart, Gary Mackay-Steven, and of course Van Veen is on the bench. So plenty of options for Derek McInnes as he really has to go for it in this second half. But they're right back in this one. It's finally poised. Aberdeen against Kilmarnock for a place in the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup. Let's get back to Willie Miller and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Aberdeen back out. Looks like they're sticking with the same 11 that started. Kilmarnock just returning to the pitch themselves, and it looks like they might be about to make a change. Fraser Murray, who had been warming up fairly vigorously at half time, is going to come on. He's not a player who's featured a whole lot this season, and the number that's being held up, he's going to replace David Watson. So, I mean, well, they didn't really have anyone, I mentioned it in the first half, they didn't really have anyone playing left-hand side in an attacking area, and I guess that they're just going to slightly tweak that system and go back to effectively what has been a 4-4-2 that's served them pretty well of late.
Yeah, I mean, Derek McInnes would have been looking at the first half and try to identify, issues that he felt that he could improve on. They've got themselves back into the game, with that late goal. He's now tinkered with the formation. He's got a bit more width on either side now, and he'll be hoping that that pays dividends.
Yeah, so Fraser Murray on for the second half, and it's immediately Kilmarnock who are attacking, and Mackenzie fouling Armstrong here, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the game for the Aberdeen fullback in the opening seconds of the second period, and it's in a free kick to Kilmarnock in a pretty dangerous area as well.
It is, it's wide, you know, it's going to be a cross into the box. There's no doubt that it deserved a yellow card. You know, Jack Mackenzie coming out, mistiming his tackle there completely against Danny Armstrong down the right hand side. It gives Armstrong the opportunity to curl one in. He's setting up with the left foot, and this is one that is going to be awkward to defend against.
Yeah, it could be about 15 yards from the goal line, 7 or 8 yards in from the right touch line, as Junior Hoylett's the one Aberdeen player who's gone out to try and make something of a wall to block off the ball coming in here from Armstrong, who's already got on the score sheet. Can he help create an equaliser here at the start of the second period? Armstrong's left-footed ball, it's a terrific one. It comes off the head of an Aberdeen player and out for a corner on that far side. What a dangerous looking ball that was into the box.
Well, you knew that was going to be an awkward one to deal with. I think it's Angus MacDonald that gets his head to it. Roos was behind him as well. He's just whipped it in with that left foot. It's, you know, maybe 4 yards out from the goal line there when the centre back gets his head on it.
Short corner taken into the box. It comes headed away by Shinnie at the near post. Polworth will go and try and get it back to Armstrong on the left hand side. Armstrong with the opportunity to cross, takes a deflection and behind for another corner on the left. No, it's actually a throw-in down near the corner flag on that left hand side. But Kilmarnock very much starting the second period in a positive frame of mind as they search for a leveller, having been 2 goals down. But Danny Armstrong's goal just before the interval bringing them right back into it, and it is Armstrong on the left hand side, takes the throw in short to Polworth, then gets it back into the box. It comes to the back post just over Vassell. Finlay will go and retrieve it on this near side, the Kilmarnock right. Plays it to Donnelly. Donnelly now finds Murray. Murray at the angle of the box on the right hand side, up against Shinnie. Cuts it back. This is a chance for Watkins. Ricochets and then off the head of MacDonald. Murray gets his head to it, then closes down Shinnie, and then whack clear by Mackenzie. And out of play on this near side for a throw in to Aberdeen. It took a nick off a Kilmarnock player as it was cleared by Mackenzie, and Aberdeen survived that 2 or 3 minutes of early second half pressure from Killie.
Yeah, you know, it's been intense, isn't it? You know, since the second half started, and Aberdeen not really starting the way that I think Neil Warnock would have hoped. You know, in terms of dominating possession, it's been Kilmarnock that has done that. They've got players forward, they've dominated the ball, they've created little half chances, they've put pressure on that Aberdeen back four as well. So far the Dons back four have stood up to it and defended well, but the intent is there from the visitors.
Yeah, but here come Aberdeen. It's Phillips, breaks for McGrath. Phillips once more with the flick, looking for Majowski. Majowski's at the goal line. He backheels it to Mackenzie. Mackenzie's back post delivery. Phillips couldn't rise high enough. Devlin will just see it out of play as it comes off a Kilmarnock body, and it's going to be a throw in to the home side. Well, there's a bit of discussion going on here between John Beaton, Phillips and Donnelly. Not entirely sure what that's about. It will be an Aberdeen throw-in over on the far side.
Yeah, I didn't see too much there. You know, he's a big unit, Phillips. He's a physical presence in that midfield. He likes to, you know, put that physicality about. And John Beaton, obviously, you know, seen something that we didn't.
It will be a throw-in then, 10 yards away from the corner flag as Aberdeen come forward on the right-hand side. McGrath back to Devlin. Devlin into the feet of Phillips on the angle of the box. Back with the full-back once more. And then Phillips again clips it into the near post. That's an easy take for Dennis. As we've played 4.5 minutes of this second period, and the scoreline as it was at half-time, 2-1 to the home side. But Kilmarnock, with the change of shape in this second period, certainly starting it well, as Kelleros gathers possession and prepares to launch this one forward and try and get his side up the park as they look to navigate their way through into the draw for the last 4. First team into it. Majowski's done well to knock the ball on, but Hoylett won't get there ahead of Wright, who then plays it off Hoylett, and it will be Kilmarnock throwing down near their own corner flag on this near side, the Kelly right.
It's been a good start to the second half again, full of energy, full of positivity, really from both sides, and they're pretty direct, aren't they? None of this goalkeeper throwing it to centre backs from either team. The instructions from the managers definitely looks like to get the ball forward as early as possible and get the defensive tested.
Armstrong and Mackenzie clashing there off the ball and right in front of both the technical areas, and there's a bit of furore there, but John Beaton not intervening on this occasion, and it will be another Kilmarnock throw-in just inside their own half, taken by Wright to Donnelly, and then forward for Armstrong. In step Shinnie, just whacks it down the left touchline out of play, and Kilmarnock will have another throw-in more or less, I think, on the halfway line. Kelly with just 2 defeats in their last 15 games, both of those to Rangers, 1-8 and drawn 6 in that period. It's been a terrific run for them. As Wright down the right hand side, the Aberdeen fans felt Vassell fouled Mackenzie off the ball there again, and they're standing to berate the officials for not having spotted that or given anything. It will be yet another Kilmarnock throw-in. They're making their way up the field, and this one's about 30 yards from the corner flag. It's taken to Polworth, and then it back to Armstrong, almost at the corner flag, and then he plays it off Hoylett, and it'll be a Kilmarnock corner kick as they look for this equalising goal. And you have to say, at this stage, they look like the side more likely to score again in the game, as Armstrong and Polworth plot another short corner here. It's just touched to Polworth. It's an outswinger, well met there by Phillips inside his own penalty area, McDonald rather. And here come Aberdeen on the counter. It's up to Majowski. He's got Hoylett with him. It's a poor first touch from Majowski. Mayo able to come across and clear his lines. Majowski shouldn't have given Mayo a chance to get in there, but it's out for an Aberdeen throw, and that was an opportunity, Willie, to get forward for Aberdeen.
It was, plenty of room to move forward. Majowski there, only one defender to take on as well. It's a lovely pass to him, and Kilmarnock wide open, from their set piece there. They've got to be better organised than that. But as far as Majowski's concerned, he's got to take a better touch. It's not like him, to be honest. He's normally pretty good with that first touch, but on that occasion it let him down.
This time it's the Kilmarnock fans' turn to howl in search of a free kick that doesn't come, when Vassell looked to be dragged to the ground, but John Beaton said, look, I'm just trying to let the game flow a bit, I think, as Donnelly gets in his ear. It's out for a throw in to Kelly over on the far side, midway inside their own half, taken by Ndaba. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1 after 53 minutes of this Scottish Cup quarter-final tie. Aberdeen in Majowski trying to get the ball to Hoylett, which he's managed to do midway inside Kilmarnock territory. Barron signals for the ball to be played to Mackenzie, which is exactly what happens, trying to take on Joe Wright. He's done well, he's into the penalty area. Can he find a cut back? In slides Lewis Mayo at the near post to cut out the cut back, and it's behind for a corner. Good play again from Jack Mackenzie, but also good defending from Mayo.
It's brilliant play though from Mackenzie, isn't it? There's nothing fancy about it. He just gets a head down, he takes a good touch, takes on the defender, goes to the byline. I was just disappointed, and I think he would be disappointed with the cross into the box. He's got to try and pick out Majowski.
It's an Aberdeen corner to be taken by Barron. He and Shinnie are saying that the two Kilmarnock players in proximity are too close, as they do a similar corner to Kilmarnock's, played short to Shinnie into the box, but Kilmarnock have dealt with it, and it comes back to the halfway line, and Mackenzie gets far too much in that ball forward, and it's straight out of play for a Kilmarnock goal kick. We've played almost 10 minutes at the start of this second half. It's been lively again, no more goals still. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1, and I said the first goal was going to be crucial. The next goal's massive as well, isn't it?
It's huge. I think Aberdeen, they've still got thoughts of that 2-goal lead, and having that dragged back to 2-1, that's still in their mind. I don't think yet they're free flowing. As for Kilmarnock, they're still optimistic. Bad head clash there, 2 players go down. No, it's on a knife's edge, you're right. The next goal is hugely important. The news is that both players are okay. Looked as though it was concussion for either side there, but they bounced right back up.
Yeah, Donnelly and Barron both contesting the high ball, clattering into each other, but I don't think the knock was really to either head actually, but it will be a free kick to Aberdeen. It's Donnelly is the man who's been penalised, combative player in there, but so too is Barron. No quarter asked or given as Kelleros prepares to take this free kick from midway inside his own half. Clad all in green, the Aberdeen keeper preparing to launch it forward once more. As Willie said, both sides pretty direct in their play, and that one comes right up to the edge of the penalty area. It's 1-0 by Finlay. Breaks to Barron, midway inside Kilmarnock half. On the right hand side, lifts it forward, and Daba's there before Devlin can make anything of it. Out for a throw in over on the far side, right in front of the Kilmarnock fans. Well into the visitors' territory here. I was looking back at Kilmarnock's Scottish Cup record. Incredibly, they've not been in a semi-final, Willie, since they last got to that final. It's a long time since they've visited Hampden for a Scottish Cup semi-final. Looking to do that by turning this one right round, but they trail by 2-1 as Aberdeen get the ball into the box, but Majowski can't beat Will Dennis to it. And the Killie goalkeeper just rolls it out to Finlay. Finlay plays it forward to Polworth, waits for Phillips to approach him, then plays a short ball back to Finlay, who then plays it more directly up, looking for Watkins, battling away there with Garterman, and then McDonald plays it high in the air, not a lot of distance on it, but it does break kindly for Barron, who's fouled by Donnelly, but Barron's still got possession and he's managed to move away, but his ball forward looking for Majowski. He's not going to find its target, and it's seen out of play by Wright for a Kilmarnock throw-in. Still 2-1 to the home side here after 57 minutes of play.
Yeah, you know, Conor Barron, very influential player in the midfield, you know, always looking to get on the ball, always being prepared, you know, to take responsibility. You know, he's a young man, he's looking to his future. I think his future will be away from Aberdeen, which will be disappointing. It'll be disappointing if he does leave the country and go elsewhere. You know, when he's on form, he can be influential. That pass wasn't one of his best right enough, but you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to set Majowski off down the left hand side, but the accuracy wasn't there.
Daba in possession for Kilmarnock.
Talking about accuracy. Come on, that's a 4-yard pass.
Even I could have found my target there, Willie.
That's a 4-yard pass that missed the target by more than 4 yards.
Yeah, so it's a throw into Aberdeen, about 15 yards inside their own half. Nicky Devlin on the right hand side to take it down the line. He goes. Phillips helps it on, and then Majowski tries to play it into the path of Hoylett, and it was a good interception again from Mayo to make sure it didn't get through. And now Kilmarnock tried to play it forward. Watkins again giving chase. Under pressure there was Garterman, but the assistant on the far side signals that it's gone out for a throw in. You know, 6 times Killie have lost at this stage since they last went on to win the tournament in 1997 against Falkirk at Ibrox, that one. As Nicky Devlin prepares to take another throw in about 15 yards away from his corner flag down the right flank. He goes, Daba in the way. Donnelly picks up possession. Murray battling away there with Phillips. Breaks to Finlay, who gets it back to Will Dennis just outside his penalty area. Poor clearance from him, but helped on by Ndaba, only into the path of Shinnie. A bit scrappy in the middle of the park just at the moment as Wright, and then Shinnie meets it once more. Hoylett helps on, looking for Majowski. Breaks back for Hoylett, but Donnelly's dispossessed him. Danny Armstrong is down, and then Shinnie taken out of play there by Joe Wright, and surely will be an Aberdeen free kick as Danny Armstrong, as I say, is down elsewhere. And it's getting a little bit tempestuous out there. Certainly,
I think it's the other way.
Yeah, it's actually just been given as a Kilmarnock throw-in. I'm sure that Shinnie was fouled there, but let's have another look at it. Well, that's the initial one. Shinnie did just catch Armstrong with the forearm in the challenge for a high ball, and then subsequently it looked to me like Shinnie was taken out of play, but the officials just awarding the throw-in as John Beaton just makes a check on Danny Armstrong there.
I think it's a case when you don't know, just ignore it. think that is what the referee decided in that occasion. It's maybe the best outcome.
So it is a throw in to Kelly on the right hand side as they come forward. Armstrong's not happy here. He's just kicked the ball straight out of play and he's gone back down, and he's going to need some treatment here quite clearly from the medical team, and Shinnie is going across to check on him. I mean, he did catch him with the forearm, but it was, they were both going for the ball. It didn't look like anything certainly deliberate or malicious in it.
No, he's taken one to the side of his face though, and it's not a great run about the temple area. It's not a great place, to get an elbow, and he's definitely suffering a little bit. It's not like him when that ball came to him. He's just trying to play it forward and totally mistimed it and put it out the park. And the two physios, maybe a physio and a doctor is on just to have a look, see if he's okay to continue.
Well, Kilmarnock certainly won't want to lose Danny Armstrong. He's so influential for them. He's got the goal here. I think he's going to be okay to continue after a fashion here. Shinnie again, just he's got a yellow card, Danny Armstrong. I can only assume there's for something he's said, but he's been asked to leave the field of play for the moment, certainly because he's had treatment. But I'm not sure. I mean, that was all a bit strange, wasn't it?
I don't think he was too happy. Wasn't too happy with Graham Shinnie, although Graham Shinnie was over, having a look at him and having a few words just to make sure he was okay. That's how it looked anyway.
That's how it looked, Willie. You're spot on there. Anyway, play resumes, and then Joe Wright's caught Phillips, and he's got a yellow card as they both contested a high ball. It is getting a little bit feisty. There's plenty at stake, of course, for both sides. And Aberdeen will have a free kick here as Killian Phillips is caught by the arm, I think, of Joe Wright, or maybe just back at the head, isn't it?
Just the back of the head. Both of them going for it. I didn't think there was any intent in it. Just that Phillips, big, tall, rangy player, he was well up. He got the touch on it, and Joe Wright comes through and catches him in the back of the head, and the referee decides it's a yellow card. I'm not so sure, but in a way you can't argue. I suppose it is dangerous play.
So Shinnie preparing to take the free kick just a few yards inside the Kilmarnock half, just in from the left touch line. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1 as Shinnie flights this free kick in. Dennis is well off his line and he clutches it high, more or less on the penalty spot there as he came to take it. And no further goals in this second period, with the game still on a knife edge, with both sides keen to have their name in that last four draw, the first team to get there, with Celtic, Livingston and Hibs Rangers to come tomorrow. Both of those games live here on Sports Sound, and highlights on Sports Scene at night. And then as I say, Morton Hearts on Monday, another really intriguing fixture, finishing off the quarter-final draw, and the semi-final draw will be made after that, live on BBC Scotland. Here's Finlay knocking it forward up to the halfway line. It's very, very scrappy at the moment. Watkins looks offside there. He can't bring the ball under control anyway. McDonald's knocked it out of play. Linesman's kept his flag down, actually. I thought it would eventually go up.
Definitely looked offside. Watkins, when that ball was played forward. Listen, it's got really scrappy, isn't it? It's a difficult watch at this moment in time. Too many unforced errors as well, and nobody really controlling the ball.
Here's Vassell, good control from him. Certainly he's through two or three challenges, and eventually Devlin has to just whack it behind to make sure Vassell didn't make any further headway into that penalty area. I mean, Vassell is a big, strong player, but he's actually got I'm going to say lovely feet for a big man, but he's a skillful player as well, isn't he?
He is skillful, but it was sheer determination and strength that got him through the 3 or 4 challenges that came in there, and it almost fell for him.
Short corner once more, and then into the penalty area. It comes into the 6-yard box actually. For McGrath gets it clear. Vassell can't quite make anything of it, and Aberdeen have managed to clear their lines. Polworth steps in, but he's lost it to McGrath. McGrath almost into the path of Majowski, but back went Lewis Mayo to turn it back to his goalkeeper Will Dennis, it's a poor clearance from him. Back goes Joe Wright to win it before Hoylett, and he's able to head it to Will Dennis, who's not having the best afternoon in goal. Certainly, I think looking back at the replays of that first goal, he will feel he could have done better. There wasn't a whole lot of power in the initial Hoylett effort, and he wasn't able to keep a hold of it, and Jamie McGrath was the grateful beneficiary. Here is Vassell out to the right hand side to the recovered Armstrong, running at McKenzie into the penalty area, or just the edge of it, lays it off to Donnelly, trying to get away from Shinnie. Right hand side, checks back, tries to poke it back to a teammate but can't manage to do so, and then shoves Shinnie off the ball. I mean, that's got to be a free kick. Again, it's not given. Armstrong just into the midriff of Hoylett, can't get the cross past him, and Shinnie picks up and finds McGrath just inside his own half, turns back to Garterman. Garterman fires it forward. Hopeful ball more than anything else. Mayo heads it off Phillips, who will go and chase and try and keep it in down at the corner flag on the left hand side. Good strength from Phillips, gets it back to Hoylett, still left hand side for Aberdeen, angle of the box, looking to hold it up until McKenzie joins him. Here is McKenzie to the byline, he goes, cuts it into the box, McGrath, deflection, goal! Aberdeen have the 2-goal advantage back. Huge deflection on the McGrath effort, takes it past Will Dennis once more, and it is Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1.
Yeah, just that overload down the left hand side, isn't it? And McKenzie again, power and pace, determination, and he puts a cross into the box. Listen, it's a dangerous one because you've got to be able to deal with it, but what a huge deflection. I think it's Stuart Finlay that it comes off of. Maybe get a little replay on it. He just tries to get himself in front of the ball as it comes in, but it's really good play down that left hand side. Hoylett again, you know, part of it. McGrath just opens his foot up and just tries to direct it towards goal. I don't think it's hitting the target, could be wrong, but it takes that deflection and it ends up in the back of the net.
I think you're right in the sense that it was Finlay, and I'm fairly sure you're also right that it wasn't going on target. It didn't look to be, because we had a good angle on it. It was we were right behind the initial effort. As you say, he opens his body up, opens the foot up to direct it towards goal. It takes a massive deflection off Stuart Finlay, past the keeper, into the net, and Aberdeen 2 goals to the good once more. 3-1 they lead with a quarter of the game to go, and they can only throw it away from here.
Yes, indeed. You know, they've been looking pretty solid at the back, losing a lot of goals this season, but you know, showing signs that they're beginning to understand, you know, what their role is and get an understanding with that back four and keeping it simple, and just making sure that they can have a treasure. Shutouts are not getting one today, but they've got to make sure that you know, they restrict Kilmarnock to very little chances.
Ndaba into the penalty area. Barron manages to get enough on it to take it to Devlin, who rather makes a mess of his clearance, but he does find McGrath. Now Aberdeen looking to add to their tally further as Phillips powers forward out to the left hand side for Hoylett. Armstrong going back with him. Junior Hoylett dances away from Armstrong into the penalty area he goes, tries to get it across goals, another big deflection, but fortunately for Kilmarnock this time it spins behind into the side netting for an Aberdeen corner.
Yeah, they're leaving themselves open. You know, they haven't reacted particularly well to losing that third goal. Disjointed, not organised, and Hoylett again, he's been very prominent in the game. You know, it's the first game where we've seen what he's capable of doing, and driving down that left hand side, taking players on, leaving them in his path, and you know, putting the cross into the box. That's huge deflection again. This time not on target though, and it goes out for the corner kick.
Junior Hoylett played under Neil Warnock at both QPR and Cardiff, so he's very much a known quantity for the manager. As Aberdeen take a short corner, then Shinnie guides it into the box, and it was a header that was off target in the end from Phillips as he rose at the back post, and Kilmarnock get it moving quickly. The goal kick taken, but Murray stopped in his tracks by the hard-working Phillips, who's still got possession. O'Kelly, they've got about 21 minutes or so to try and find at least a couple of goals which would force extra time, but that's a cynical challenge in the middle of the park by Shinnie on Donnelly, and again, no yellow card, which looked like it was almost a certainty there, as Kelly then will have the free kick just inside their own territory. Taken short to Polworth. Polworth fires it forward into the feet of Watkins. Watkins just outside the box, gets turned out to the left. It goes to Murray. Murray has not really been able to make an impact in the game since coming on. Fouled though by McGrath, who claims he won the ball, but the referee has awarded a free kick, and he's going to show a yellow to Jamie McGrath, which was to me a much more innocuous foul than the one that Shinnie committed a moment or so ago. But it is a yellow for McGrath, who will no doubt be claiming that third Aberdeen goal, but I'm not sure ultimately it'll go to him if the shot wasn't going on target.
I don't think it was it? It was a rather weak effort from Jamie McGrath. Felt he opened his foot up. He's trying to side foot it, into the far corner. It's not, he's managed to get a forward pass, obviously, and then the deflection happens. But I don't think that's going on target.
This is a chance though for Kilmarnock to get back into it again. Free kick on the left-hand side, about 15 yards from the goal line. It's Polworth who is going to fire it back post, but he's got far too much on that, and it's straight out of play, much to the delight of the majority of the fans inside Pittodrie, who cheer that one, and it'll be a goal kick to Aberdeen, and Kilmarnock can ill afford to waste opportunities like that.
That's a great opportunity, a great chance. You've got to ask a question of the defence. You've got to put that ball into an area where Aberdeen have got to defend against it, and for Polworth to lean back and put it, not just over the bar, but way over the bar. He's from a position where, I've been there, they're difficult to defend, when they get it right, when they drill it in, when they give it a bit of movement as well. And Polworth had the opportunity, they're totally wasted.
Finlay and Majowski grappling. The Kilmarnock player comes out on top on that occasion as McGrath picks up just inside the Kelly half, fouled by Donnelly. It will be an Aberdeen free kick. They are looking good at the moment for a place in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, having got to the League Cup final already this season, beaten by Rangers in that one, but looking to try and get some silverware to end the season on a positive note, because certainly league-wise it hasn't been going the way they'd intended after a wonderful third place finish last campaign, but been much more difficult this season. Here's Barron with the free kick into the penalty area, but again he's got too much on it as well. He's standing with the arms spread as if to say, well, it was into the area you wanted it, but looked like he just got a bit much on it, and it will be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. We've played 72 minutes here, and it's Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1.
You would think that Kilmarnock would need something quickly, to give them that confidence to maybe push the game, as the clock starts to run down on them. That third goal was so important for Aberdeen, and a major blow for Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock.
Yeah, Aberdeen heading for their first victory over Killie this season. As Armstrong though picks up on the right hand side and tries to get the better of Mackenzie, who hits the deck himself and gets the free kick for a pull back by Armstrong, who complains to the assistant referee who flagged for it. But it's a kind of decision that almost always goes in favour of the defender, Willie.
It is, yeah. There's hardly any contact though, is there? There's a little bit of contact, certainly not enough for Jack McKenzie to throw both his legs up in the air behind him and go down to the ground. But anyway, that in that situation, and he's right under the nose of the linesman down this stand side as well, so inevitably the flag goes up. It's a free kick. Probably technically it is a free kick, but I think McKenzie made the most of it. Yeah.
Balagizi and Stewart look like they are going to be the Kilmarnock players who are going to come on immediately, although Gary Mackay-Stephen also looks like he's preparing himself as well. Kevin Van Veen, of course, on the bench for Killie, probably hasn't quite made the impact he would have hoped for, or Kilmarnock would have hoped for, since coming into the club. Hasn't really been able to displace the excellent Marley Watkins and Kyle Vassell in the starting lineup as yet, as Killie get themselves a throw in just inside their own half, taken by Armstrong. McDonald gets his head to it though. Marley Watkins crowded out, and back goes Barron to tidy things up and knock it back to Keller Ross with 60 minutes left of the 90. Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1. Aberdeen heading for a place in the Scottish Cup semi-final as Hoylett plays it back to Mackenzie. Mackenzie clips it forward up to Killian Phillips. Hoylett again in there, but Mayo manages to get it clear. Mayo's just taking a knock there, and taking a moment or two to steady himself as Finlay guides it back to his goalkeeper, and then Ndaba picks up. Left hand side is Fraser Murray. They've really missed Matty Kennedy today, who's been excellent for Denny McInnes' side, but Murray making a bit of territory down that left hand side. But yeah, Kennedy's been a miss for them, hasn't he, Willie?
Oh, there's no doubt. When you've got Armstrong Kennedy on the field of play. You know you've got good width, you know you've got quality in these areas and difficult to pin down. And also from, you know, the creativity point of view, being able to whip balls into the box, being able to, you know, really test defenders. And unfortunately, you know, Kennedy not being available and Armstrong now having to go off as well. It's a big ask now for Kilmarnock, isn't it, to turn this one round. 75 minutes on the clock and time is running out for them.
Yeah, so Polworth, Vassell and Armstrong all off. Gary Mackay-Stephen, James Balagizi and Greg Stewart, the players to come on as Kilmarnock look for a way back into this cup tie. Kelleros has dropped across, but fortunately for him, no Kilmarnock players lurking to capitalise on that one. Looked like a pretty comfortable take for the keeper, but he's got his bearings wrong there and eventually gathers with no harm done.
You know, he makes a real hash of it, doesn't he? It's an easy take. Should have been an easy take for him. You know, I suppose if you're going to drop the ball like that, make sure there's no opposition players round about you, and that was a saving grace for him because it was a major error, but not punished.
Joe Wright going down under pressure there from Hoylett down at the corner flag. It will just be a throw in to Kilmarnock. Very deep inside their own territory. They need a couple of goals, they need them fast. 14 to play with Aberdeen leading by 3-1. Remember, we've got the Fife Derby coming up live here on Sports Sound, the 3 o'clock kick-off. Raith and Dunfermline going head to head. The Raith Rovers looking to narrow the gap again on Dundee United at the top of the table, keep the pressure on them, although United themselves in action against Arbroath. Kelleros fires it long. Finlay gets his head to it, over the halfway line it goes, and McDonald heads out to the left hand side to Mackenzie, who played a big role in that Aberdeen third goal. Here's Balagizi getting first touch of the ball, plays it back to his keeper. It's a rather dangerous one, difficult one for Dennis to deal with under a bit of pressure from Majolski, but the keeper manages to get it clear up to the halfway line, and then Balagizi wins it there and forces it down the left channel, but again no Kilmarnock players able to latch onto it, and it's all the way through to Kelleros.
It's all pretty desperate now, isn't it, from the visitors? You know, these changes, yeah, they can have an impact, you know, but you're making 3 changes. It can also be disruptive as well, and maybe a sign of desperation. I think Derek McInnes knows that this tie is drifting away from him. He's got to obviously try to use his experience to, you know, turn things round. But Aberdeen coping with it so far anyway, particularly well.
Long from Ross, won by Mayo, picked up by Barron, who tries to drive away from Balagizi down the right hand side. Good play from Barron, still he's going into the feet of Majolski, gets turned, gets the shot, another deflection, takes the sting out of the shot really, and easy for Will Dennis to gather, and Donnelly sticking to his task well there as Majolski looked to score his first goal in 6 games. Donnelly's won it again in the middle of the park. He's fouled by McGrath, who's on a yellow. Just got to be careful. It wasn't a bad foul at all, but you never know once you're in the referee's book. You just got to be. I think that's the point Derek McInnes is making.
Try telling Derek McInnes that it was a little bit out of control, wasn't it, from McGrath. Referee just ignored that again. You know, I don't think he wants too much controversy at this stage of the game.
No, I think the last thing John Beaton needs at the moment is more controversy. As Mayo takes the free kick from the halfway line into the penalty area, it goes again. No Kilmarnock players anything to make anything of it, and they're all looking just that little bit more dispirited now as the seconds and minutes tick away. Just 11 minutes left now of the 90, with Aberdeen leading by 3-1 and looking good just at the moment. I know there won't be too many taking anything for granted at this stage, Willie, the way things have been going, but they are looking in a comfortable position.
Definitely not. You know, after the last weekend's adventurous last couple of minutes, but no, I think the Kilmarnock players, their body language is kind of conveying the message that I don't know if they really believe that they can turn this one round. So, you know, that being the case, then Aberdeen should take a big lift from that. Listen, they should take a big lift, be 2 goals up.
Could be 3 up here as Majolski with the glancing header, didn't get enough on it. Away by Wright, only as far as McGrath, and then Majolski with another opportunity. Good stop as Dennis goes down again, and claims for a penalty there, but it's a clean take from Dennis as Majolski was denied getting on the score sheet there. McGrath again heavily involved, but Aberdeen coming close to a fourth goal. Kilmarnock unable to bring it under control. Greg Stewart there, and then Balagizi and Finlay almost dispossessing each other, but Finlay does get it to Murray in the end via Greg Stewart. Now it's Murray left flank coming infield, looking to try and get the shot away. Sliding challenge comes in from Devlin to take the impetus out of the Murray shot, and then Majowski will try and make something of it, but Mayo guides it back to his goalkeeper at the edge of his penalty area. 10 to play, Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1. Header comes in from Angus MacDonald this time, out to McKenzie left hand side, plays it forward for Phillips. Phillips just waits for the run of Majowski. Finlay's quick though, he matches him well and guides it back to Dennis, who just manages to keep it in play. Plays it up the park, looking for Mackay Stephen, but Shinney's there ahead of him, and Phillips picks up left hand side for Aberdeen, just tries a little flick into the path of McKenzie. That doesn't come off, but Phillips isn't going to give it up just yet, and then he goes down. He's won inside a free kick, and that's good battling away there from Phillips. Wasn't going to give it up at all, and eventually wins his side a free kick in a good position.
Yeah, you know, showing a great attitude. The midfield player, you know, he's big, he's strong. He goes down, you know, and wins the free kick. I don't know if there's too much contact, to be perfectly honest, but you know, as far as the game's concerned, then you know, it's exactly what you need as an Aberdeen player. You've got that 2-goal lead. You need to, you know, make sure that whenever the ball is there to be contested, that you're willing to, you know, take the blows, take the knocks, get into the battle and try to win the ball. And if you're not winning the ball, get the free kick, and that's exactly what he did.
Bojan Majowski has been replaced here by Esther Sockler, and Duke's going to come on for Junior Hoylett as Neil Warnock just tries to freshen things up for these final few minutes here to see out this victory that is almost within their grasp. They've got the 2-goal cushion, which should at this stage be enough, you would say, and I mean, I think on balance really Aberdeen have done enough to claim the victory, and they've got a chance here as Barron sends it into the box, but it's too close to the keeper, and with 8 minutes to go, it's Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1.
No, they have. They've been the better team. That's not to say that you know, Kilmarnock haven't played their part. Of course they have. It's not been a spectacular Scottish Cup tie in terms of the quality of the football, but it's been great to watch. It's been, you know, exciting. We've got 4 goals as well. Aberdeen dominating the goal scoring. A little bit fortunate with a couple of them, but at the same time you're creating the opportunities, you're testing defences, and you know, if they're not good enough to deal with it, then you take these opportunities. So at home they've certainly gave the fans hope and optimism for the Scottish Cup, and as importantly that they run into the league as well, and just to make sure that they don't get dragged, and there's any semblance of them getting dragged into that playoff place. Yeah,
well, we've got a big game in the league down at Dens Park on Wednesday. I think you and I will both be there for that one, Willie, and they'll certainly be hoping that the confidence and positivity that come from what looks like being a victory here will carry over into that game, as McGrath picks up right hand side, looking to try and create an Aberdeen fourth here. Finlay's close to him. McGrath eventually goes back the way to Gartman, who first time sends it into the box. A good ball, but it's headed away by Mayo. Comes to Shinney, who fancies his chances again, this time in the left foot, but lifts it well over the crossbar as Innes Cameron's about to come on here for Marley Watkins, as Kilmarnock really have a last roll of the dice to try and get back into this cup tie, but they trail by 3-1 with just 6 minutes left of the 90 here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, and you know, the home side just got to see it out. You know, it's been a good afternoon for them. It's been a good afternoon for their manager, and certainly the fans have enjoyed it. And you know, the thought just now is obviously turning to the semi-final. You know, seeing who at the end of this weekend who they're going to get. But it flows into Monday as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, Monday night.
So, you know, it's a great position to be in. They've just got to, you know, make sure that nothing silly is done at the back, that they try to control this game as well as they can. Kelly making all these changes as well. You wonder, you know, does that disrupt, or, you know, does it actually work? And I think when you're down in your own left back area and you get a nudge in the back, as Graham Shinnie did on that occasion, you go down, don't you? You take your time. You run that clock down.
Yeah. Interesting for me that Kilmarnock have made all these changes and Kevin Van Veen hasn't been. I mean, we brought in his Cameron on there. Clearly up front, Greg Stewart's already on up front as well. Kevin Van Veen sitting there on the bench and he's not turned to him. It's
surprising, when you're looking for a goal. But Derek obviously knows the state of mind that he's in, how he's been performing in training. But still, you think just from the fact that he is a goal scorer, that you get him on and you give him the opportunity, and you hope he can sprinkle some, magic dust and get one back. And if you do get one back, then just test the nerves.
Yeah, well, he hasn't scored in his 7 appearances for Kilmarnock so far. Kevin Van Veen, having come in on loan from Groningen. We've got 4.5 minutes left here at Pittodrie, plus added on time. Aberdeen leading by 3-1. The ball's not long up towards Cameron, but McDonald wins the ball in the air, and then Finlay has to head it back to his goalkeeper once more. And Kilmarnock usually so solid at the back, but there have been mistakes. You definitely look at all 3 Aberdeen goals, and there was a stroke of fortune in terms of deflections about them, but you would definitely look at the goalkeeping and the defending as well and say they were avoidable, as Aberdeen have a throw-in over on the far side.
Yeah, I would say so. I think Derek McInnes will be lamenting that fact in his post-match interview. Because they have been good defensively, whereas when you're looking at how the defences have played and comparing them this afternoon, then certainly Aberdeen defence have looked much more stronger and solid than the Kilmarnock has.
Aberdeen throwing over on the far side, about 15 yards from their corner flag, to be taken by Nicky Devlin. 3 minutes to play. Aberdeen leading by 3-1. I think what will go down as a Stuart Finlay own goal in the end looks to be the one that's going to just give them that bit of comfort, which they weren't really enjoying at just 2-1. As we're going to get another Aberdeen change here, is that Jack Milne, who's going to come on for the closing couple of minutes, and Nicky Devlin looks like the player who's going to make way here. Another good shift down that right flank for Nicky Devlin. Very, very reliable, solid player, isn't he?
Very good for Aberdeen. He's played a lot of minutes as well this season. I think he took a knock not that long ago. There's not a great deal of time left in this game, and you get the youngster on, a bit more energy, a bit more height as well, for defending set pieces.
Yeah, Jack Milne, 20-year-old, on for his 8th appearance of the season, and Aberdeen have got a corner here to try and put this game well out of Kilmarnock's reach. Another short one taken, back to Shinnie. Oh, he's caught there by Fraser Murray. Referee's played on. I mean, that looked like a blatant foul to me, as Kilmarnock will try and counter and somehow get their way back into the cup tie. Cameron, though, challenge, and Shinnie is absolutely in John Beaton's face, and he's been shown a yellow card for his complaints.
Yeah. You can understand why, can't you? I mean, it looked from our vantage point here that he was wiped out by Murray, the Aberdeen skipper, and we'll maybe get a wee chance to have a look at it again, see if there was any. He's just wiped out. I mean, you cannot understand why the referee can't see that. Graham Shinnie is furious, absolutely furious. They can understand why. You can't.
Need to be careful here, because he's been booked and he's still ranting away at John Beaton there, and there's absolutely no sense in talking your way into 2 yellow cards at the end of a cup tie, which you're about to.
No, but you can't. John Beaton's explaining to him. You can't. How can a player like that? When we've just watched a replay of it, when we watched it in real time as well, he's totally wiped out, and the referee's trying to explain why he didn't give the free kick to him.
Players resumed. Cameron battling away here with McDonald for possession over on the right hand side. McDonald semi-final, gets the challenge in, and it's out for a Kilmarnock throw, and quickly taken by Cameron back to Donnelly, and then Cameron once more for Mayo, right hand side for Kelly, into the feet of Greg Stewart, quickly closed down by Barron. He knocks it out of play for another Kilmarnock throw in. We've got just about 25 seconds left of the 90. We'll just keep an eye on Don Robertson's fourth official board down there for the stoppage time to be added, but Aberdeen, especially since they've gone 3-1 up, have looked pretty comfortable in this cup tie, as Finlay though tries to keep it alive at the edge of the box. 4 minutes to be added on, as Greg Stewart's shot took a big deflection and spun safely into the arms of Kelly Ross, but barring a miracle here for Kilmarnock, and Aberdeen are making their way into the semi-final draw.
And it certainly looks like that, doesn't it, at this stage? And really, when you look at the amount of opportunities, or the lack of opportunities, that Kilmarnock have created in the second half, then you know, you can't really see where it's coming from. But you know, after Saturday,
Cameron with a speculative effort, high and wide, as Kilmarnock's frustrations continue. Well, they came into this game arguably as favourites, really, but you would have to say that Aberdeen have done a job on them. Here's Leighton Clarkson about to come on again, just really as much as anything to run the clock down a bit further, and it's Conor Barron who's going to be replaced. I mean, Leighton Clarkson probably hasn't hit the heights he did last season. Willie, that's been one of the disappointments for Aberdeen this season, but a good player to be able to bring on for these closing few seconds.
He's a very good player, very skillful player as well. Yeah, you know, some of the performances have been disappointing. He hasn't shown the consistency, but it's difficult to kind of fit them all in, isn't it, when you're talking about Conor Barron, who's been pretty good this season for most of the games that he's played in, and then you're looking at, you know, maybe Phillips with that little bit more physicality in the midfield there, which is important. And just trying to fit both Barron and Clarkson in, I think, can be difficult.
Here's Donnelly in possession for Kilmarnock. We've played a couple of minutes almost of the added on time. Still Kilmarnock trailing by 3-1, and it looks like Neil Warnock will be heading to a Scottish Cup semi-final. He took Sheffield United to an FA semi, beaten by Arsenal in that one. He's never been to a cup final. As Fraser Murray picks up left-hand side, there's an offside flag up against Kilmarnock, and Aberdeen will have the free kick. And well, it's been a while since the Aberdeen fans here at Pittodrie have had much to cheer, Willie. That 2-0 victory over Bonnyrigg Rose, their last win certainly, but they're in good fettle as the closing seconds tick by here this afternoon.
I think it's a fact that you know, Kilmarnock have had such a good season, and they're a team coming up here, you know, optimistic that they would get into the semi-final. Certainly came up here as favourites on the form of both teams this season. So yeah, Pittodrie's been disappointing place to turn up and support your team, and the fans are getting a bit of a return this afternoon, and they've got that semi-final to look forward to by the looks of it.
Here come Kelly, late 40 forward, but Garterman gets to it first and finds Milne. Milne forward for McGrath, and then back to Milne on that right hand side, crossing the halfway line. Balagizi can't stick with him, he's found Sockler into the penalty area, tries to cut it back for Phillips, edge of the box, takes a touch, Phillips, good save, might come back for Sockler, and a good challenge in there as well from Donnelly to deny him the opportunity, although he was in an offside position, Sockler, and the flag goes up. Phillips denied when he might have added a fourth there for Aberdeen, but a good breakaway just thwarted by Will Dennis.
Yeah, it was, but Sockler's maybe 2 yards offside there. I don't see why the flag shouldn't go up. You know, it's not marginal. Make the decision early, but of course that's the direction they're getting. I thought Phillips did really well. He looked cool and calm. He took the touch on it. The strike wasn't up to the coolness that he actually showed in that build up. But at this stage, you know, it doesn't really matter. I think it looks like Aberdeen are certainly in the hat.
Yeah, it sure does. Seconds remaining here at Pittodrie, and the home side with a 2-goal advantage, just moments away from securing that place in the semi-final. Cameron comes forward for Kelly. That's their task now. Is going to end in failure. as Mayo tries to get it into the penalty area. It'll come for Ndaba. There is the full-time whistle, and it's Aberdeen who have brought an end to a winless run to secure Scottish Cup success and take their place in the last four. A really hard-earned but ultimately deserved win for them. Neil Warnock has guided Aberdeen into the semi-final. Disappointment for Kilmarnock, who for the 7th time since winning the Cup in 1997 stumble at the quarter-final stage. Semi-final eludes them once more, but Aberdeen will have the opportunity to revisit Hampden and try and bring a bit of positivity towards the end of this season, which has been a tough one for them. The goals came initially from Jamie McGrath in 12 minutes when he tapped in Junior Hoylett's shot, not held by Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock goal, and McGrath tapped in to make it 1-0. It was 2-0 courtesy of a Graham Shinney rocket off the right foot on 33 minutes after Hoylett and McGrath had combined to set him up. A slight deflection taking it past Will Dennis, and that was the score going into half-time. But for Kilmarnock popping up with a Danny Armstrong strike as Kyle Vassell found him with a cutback to set up a really enthralling second period. But the Kilmarnock comeback did not materialise, and in fact it was Aberdeen who went on to add to their advantage and just restore that bit of comfort they required as Jack McKenzie burst into the box, cut it back for McGrath, whose effort wasn't going to hit the target, but it was deflected in off Stuart Finlay, an own goal it will go down as. And beyond that, Kelly could not muster anything to get back into the tie, and as such it is Aberdeen who take their place in the last four of the Scottish Cup. It finishes here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 3, Kilmarnock 1.